Good morning. Thanks for starting your Oshkosh, joining us here. We got a countdown timer until we start. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to countdown timer until start. I want to go ahead and get started while we're trying to get the technical stuff worked out. It looks like we finally got some great weather. It was looking a little iffy there. And I hope you have a great show. I started out this morning, and I'll circle back to that, walking through the line and looking at all the RVs. If you haven't gone out yet, make sure you walk. There's an amazing number of RVs out there. So every year I'm impressed with the number of people who take the time out of their busy lives and schedules to come here and get together. And it's always a lot of fun. And speaking of that, the reason we are all able to do this, let's start out by having Dick Van Grunsven come up and talk to you, the guy who started all this, who created all this, so we could all enjoy it. Dick.
Well, good morning. I'm glad to be here as always. Good to see all of you here. I'm always concerned about an early morning program, that people get up early enough to be here, so thanks for the effort, either that or you're part of the insomnia crowd. But anyway, we've got a great program this morning. Looking out, it reminds me the first time I faced a group like this was about 1972, when I first showed up with my RV3, hoping that we'd find people interested enough in the airplane that they would buy plans that I was hoping to offer for the airplane to enter this fray. And fortunately, there was quite a bit of interest. Back then, by the way, kits really didn't exist. If you were building a home built, you'd bought a set of plans, mechanical drawings, some instructions, raw material, and you built an airplane. Aluminum airplanes weren't real popular because if you were building one, you started with some flat sheets of aluminum and maybe some extrusion. You built an airplane. I had the advantage with the RV3 that I had friends that had equipment, and we could manufacture form ribs and parts. I had already a part-time fiberglass business, so I could make all of the fiberglass pieces. So we had more than just a set of plans. I thought that I had that advantage and could make the aluminum airplane more popular than it had been at that time. Fortunately, of course, we did have enough people interested in the airplane. I started offering plans. And of course, people were never content, and they wanted a kit. They didn't want to have to build it with flat sheets of aluminum. That makes sense. And things moved on. One seat was not good enough. We needed two seats. Then we needed side by side, then et cetera, et cetera. So things worked out very well, other than, say, maybe in the late 70s, early 80s, a new material started entering the picture. That was composite. Those of you that were around at the time know that based on everything that you read and heard, that anything other than composite was going to be just obsolete. Airplanes were all going to be fast glass. We did find, though, that enough people still liked aluminum, weren't real confident of the newfangled material. We were content to cater to that then smaller segment of the interest market and stayed with it. And as things evolved, I think we made the right choice. And we were able to continue to improve the kits, most mainly that. And of course, the quick build kits came along, and that was great, except that you want the quick build kit to be even quicker, which we've been able to do. We've been able to constantly make improvements to the point that we are now, that basically the leaders in that level of development and technology. But that said, that's the airplane side. The people side is really important. You're part of that equation. But we're very fortunate, I'm very fortunate to have been able to attract very talented and dedicated and ambitious people to help in this company. So right now, I'm going to turn the mic over to our current CEO, Michael Vile.
Thanks, Jake. We finally got the technology going. Thank you, Dick. You know, what do you say that we decided to go for the small opportunity and look at where Vans is now? I think it's by far, by any imagination, the largest. I think we've got over 20-something thousand customers still building. We've got about 12,000 RVs flying. It's a huge community. And when I heard you say something about small, I'm like, Vans is huge, and it's because of all of you. It's because of Dick Van Grunsven. Can we give a hand to Dick Van Grunsven? You know, I always like to start out by asking some questions and show of hands thing. I did it last year, maybe when you were here. How many people here are currently building, not yet completed, building an RV? Raise your hand, please. Awesome. How many people own and fly an RV? Some of those hands went up again. A lot of those hands went up again. Who's thinking about building an RV? Hadn't made the decision yet. Awesome. Well, we got some stuff for you. Well, who's thinking about 15? Oh, look at that. Repeat offenders again. All right, all right. I always like to ask that, and walking around here, I already said it. I spent time this morning, honestly, employees are going to get mad at me probably. I'm having a Michael moment. I had my notes about what I was going to do, told the employees what I wanted to say, and I changed it all this morning and last night. Last year, well, before I get going on that, let me tell you what we're going to do, so in case I bore anybody runs away. We're going to update you on what's happening at Vans. There's a lot to talk about. We've got an update, a significant update to talk to you about the RV-15. We've got an update on the RV-12. We've made a lot of progress in operations and getting parts and components to all of you. You know, we stood here last year and talked to you. There was a lot of concern at that point in time about the status of you getting the parts and the support you need. And then Lycoming engines was a big concern for everyone. And I'm proud to stand here and say we've made huge progress and huge gains on all of those things. And we also understand that some of you still, you may be the one that didn't get the part on time, or maybe we didn't answer your email fast enough. And maybe we messed up and sent you the wrong part. But it's not because of a lack of effort, and it's not because we're not achieving things. We've achieved so much that a lot of times when you're the one that has that thing happen to you, you don't have the perspective of the mass that was built up that we needed to push through to get everybody the parts and components and support that we needed. And I wanted to give you some of that perspective. And so I want to show you that. So what have we done since we stood here last year and told you we're going to focus on the existing customers? I don't know if you noticed that we didn't go to a lot of air shows last year that we would have normally gone to. We didn't take out a lot of ads. We focused on getting parts sourced in-house and shipped to you. And so I want to give you a couple of the numbers of what we achieved. It's here. There it is. So the first thing was we had to get over 3,300 customers laser cut parts replacement kits. We did that in about 6-month period of time roughly, and I think about 25 kits per day. Then I know you all understand that's picking, packaging, and shipping those for 3,300 people. 20,000 customer service calls in the last year. That's about 80 a day. 16,000 parts orders. That's about 60 per day. 1,200 airframe kits, about 4.5 per day. When I say per day, my math is the days that we're open and the days that we're working, not 365 days, it's working days of the year. And then another big thing that was important to everyone, and we worked hard, and Lycoming's helped us, and we worked together, is we've been shipping a little less than one per business day of Lycoming engines with Lycoming, working with them, and we're getting the lead times down with them because we know that's a critical thing for all of you. And I know that when we don't do what's right for you, it's easy to get upset. I was the customer at home like you when this happened to me when I was building a class there. And we want to be customer focused, and the reason that I've asked all the employees to come here today is we talk about the community. I talked about the 11,000 people that are flying airplanes and such. It is amazing how many people are willing to fly here, spend time, get together, and be part of the community. But a very important part of the community are the employees at Vans Aircraft. If these guys wouldn't have stayed in here and pushed and fought for you and worked overtime and weekends, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish all these things. And a lot of times the talking heads are up here, but the important people are over here. And I'd like to ask everybody from Vans that's here, would you please come up here for a minute? Everybody from Vans, come on. I know you don't want to. Let me give you this or not. I want you to stand here. Thank you for doing that. It was unprompted, and I really appreciate it. These are the people that none of you see it. I think many of you know them personally, but they're working nights and weekends to make things right. And I want to make sure we acknowledge you for all of you standing by Vans and being supportive and being the community. You can't go anywhere and land and not find a friendly RV owner, builder, flyer, and when you need help, they're always there. And I want all of you to know and acknowledge, like you just did, that all of these people are working nights and weekends to help you. So one more time, please. So we have a lot of stuff to cover. I'm sorry I deviated, but I thought it was the most important thing I could do today. We have a lot of exciting stuff, both operationally, what we've done, and what's coming up on the 15th, the 12th, Mosaic. This is going to be an exciting year for Vans Aircraft and Vans Aircraft owners. And I'd like Chanel, our COO, to come up and tell you the operations. And then he's going to bring up a member of our team. And then when we're finished, please hang around because we want to celebrate the wins with you and we want to hear about the misses. And we want to have a personal discussion with you about what we can do to make it better. We're all going to hang around and talk with you, Sean. Please take it away. Thank you.
All right, so last year I got up here and I talked to y'all for too long, probably an hour. I won't do that today, I promise. I think I have four or five slides. But what I do want to do is acknowledge the people out there on Slack. I'm not sure who it is, but go ahead and start recording. This is going to get good at the end here. So last year we got up here and we told you that we let you down and that we would get better. We shared with you a bunch of open-ended, operationally focused projects that were important, and we're working on those projects to stabilize the business. We shared with you our mission: total performance, innovative excellence, dedicated to elevating the ownership experience. It's about you. We shared a bunch of words with you: transformation, organizational health, the right people in the right seats, leveraging strengths, addressing weaknesses, trust, loyalty, candor, transparency, and humility. These are a bunch of promises and aspirations, but nothing yet done. We told you all about what we will do, and we told you that we would continue to stumble. And I want to make an example. Is Benny Pika here in the crowd? Where? He's probably out flying his RV-10 right now. So for those that were here last year, Benny sat up here in the front, and at the end of our presentation, after we just got done talking about how we were finally shipping RV-10 seats with new kits out the door, Benny raised his hand and asked the question, what about me? Benny had his kit already, his finished kit already. He'd been waiting for months and months and months for his seat set. And he didn't want to get passed over and want to make sure that we didn't forget about him. Well, fast forward to February, and we get an email from none other than Benny. And he says, what about me? I think you skipped over me. And we browse through our data, and what we find is that Benny and 2 other people, we skipped in line and we missed them. And here Benny was, however many months later, 9 months later, still waiting for his kit. So we made sure that we got Benny and those 2 other guys in the right spot on the list. We got them their seats quickly. And on June 6th, we got another message from Benny. His first flight was RV-10. And I tell you this because I want you to know that we still miss. We're not perfect. But what we do from those moments is we observe, we listen, we learn, and we adapt and get better because of that. And that's exactly what this team has done. This year is a little different. We want to tell you a little bit about what we've done, what's to come. We want to tell you about our accomplishments. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Are we better? Without a doubt. Now the changes that we've made and the accomplishments that we have, they aren't necessarily sexy, they aren't innovative, they aren't exciting, but they're foundational in us accomplishing our objectives and delivering that elevated experience to you. So one I want to share with you is back orders. A little over a year ago, we were sitting at $2.3 million in back orders. And today, we're at $193,218.88. And that's 293 lines and 97 customers. And I tell you that because I want everyone to understand that that's the level of precision that we're operating our business on. And this takes an army to accomplish this. This takes this team. There's 20 people here from Vans, but there's 113 of us total, and a bunch of those are at home, back hard at work, making this happen. To the 97 customers, I want you to know that we know who you are, we know what you need, we're working diligently to get you your parts, and we're not yet done, but we've made a ton of progress. Now we focus a lot on getting the right people in the right seats, and we are proud of everything that this team has accomplished. And so I'm done now, and I'm going to move on and let you hear from them. But I want to introduce to you Austin, our warehouse manager. And Austin has been with us for 7 years, 7.5 years and 7 days and 3 hours or something is what he corrected me on earlier. But he's been here for 7 years, and you know, every team has people with different roles and different responsibilities. And you know, you have the glue guy, you have the enforcer, you have the energy guy, and the list goes on and on. Austin is our energy guy. This man doesn't have an ounce of quit in him. He will sprint when the distance is unknown, and he fights for you each and every day to make sure that you get your parts on time, on quality, and you get everything in the crate that you need. So Austin, come up here and share what your team's been doing.
I'm gonna kind of copy Michael a little bit here. I'm curious, how many of you have received a kit or parts order, an order from Vans, and we sent you the wrong parts, defective parts, or just missed parts? Okay, it's a lot less than I thought. Over the past year, I'd say I've been on a warpath trying to ensure that when we're shipping our kits out, we're sending you the correct parts on time on your first shipment. That's what we want to be able to do. Over the past 6 months, we've achieved a 98.7% order accuracy rate. Industry average is 98%, but we're not stopping there. We're going to try and hit that 100% marker as much as we can. We've recently partnered with, We've recently partnered with RF-Smart. RF-Smart is the industry's leading WMS system, warehouse management system. RF-Smart's going to help us automate our warehouse operations and streamline our inventory and just improve our accuracy across the board. We've recently implemented some different crates. I know a lot of you are kind of used to receiving your wood crate, right? It weighs 300 to 400 pounds. You can't move it anywhere, and it's a pain. We started utilizing corrugated crates. It sounds a little counterintuitive, right? Going from a wood crate to a cardboard box, but over the past year, we've averaged 1 damage claim per month. And since implementing our corrugated crates, we've had 0 reported damage claims. We've currently packed all of our imp kits and majority of our wing kits in these corrugated crates, and we're pushing to start doing our fuselages and finished kits as well. So we're hoping to start implementing those sometime next year. In addition to a better shipping accuracy, these crates also are saving customers an average of $200 per kit shipment. We've seen it up to $400 on the high end, and on the low is about $50. But that average point's about $200. One of the biggest things within the warehouse is change. We've had a lot of change over the years. Right now we have a team that's pretty dialed in. I have a team of about, I'd say, 16 employees that push every day to get you guys your kits, your parts on time, and really a lot of our success within the warehouse is because of them. I know they're not here today, but we appreciate them. And I think at the core of all this, it's kind of a simple commitment for us to continuously improve and be the best at everything we do, from the warehouse floor to the aircraft that you guys build. Thank you all for your continued support, and I'm excited for what's ahead. Next, I'm going to introduce our new quality director, Kieran. Kieran's been with Vans for about 3 months now, I think. Like me, Kieran's got a ton of energy. Seems like he has no quit, and I think we've all learned a lot from him over the past 3 months. So we're excited for what he's going to bring to the table within the next year in his future at Vans. Thank you.
Good morning, Oshkosh. How's everybody doing? Doing good. It's so exciting to be here with you guys. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am to be wearing this badge today. Like many of you, I'm guessing, I've been a huge fan of Vans for well over 2 decades now. And when the opportunity came for me to join the Vans team, boy did I seize it with both hands. I'm excited to share a couple of quick updates. I won't be up here for very long. But as Austin said, I'm Kieran Hines, Director for Quality Assurance, your Director for Quality Assurance. And a couple of quick updates in terms of what we've been doing on the Vans team in terms of building a quality assurance engine within the organization. I'm proud to say I'm building my team. We have a team of 5 people strong right now, and we're growing. Combined, we have a collective 82 years of industry experience, with over half of this being within the Vans organization. I come from quality assurance, 25 years of regulated medical device quality management. I'm excited to apply that to the operations at Vans. So please know that we're making a substantial investment here. We're not where we want to be. Despite the amazing progress that we've made, we want to be our own toughest critic. And I want feedback from you guys here today. I'm going to be sticking around. Look for the guy in the orange hat, easy to spot. Come and talk to me. Let me know what you're experiencing. I want to hear it firsthand so that I can take it back to the incredible team back in Aurora and make some significant changes. So on the topic of changes, I wanted to just briefly touch on a couple of things that we're working on within the operation. We're advancing our inspection capability, not just for manufactured content, but for incoming purchase content, fabricated parts, assembled kits, etc. We're investing in the technology to improve the caliber of our inspection capability, the accuracy of our part production. We're reducing the amount of time that we're spending investigating individual quality topics or issues and driving those things to the ground in terms of root cause analysis, fixing the issues at a systemic level, and making this thing better for everybody else. We are building closed loop systems and processes so that we're taking your feedback, applying it into the operation so that it doesn't happen again. And like I said, we know we're not there yet, but we're going to get there better and stronger and faster. And of course, it goes without saying, everything that we do is in the spirit of ASTM compliance. That's true for everything we do at Vans. And also, what I'm bringing to the table is a heavy leaning in on some of the world's leading quality assurance standards from an ISO and AS perspective. So we're looking to build a formal QMS, again, to make sure that we're addressing these opportunities to improve at the root cause. So that's it for me from quality. Again, come and see me, talk to me. I want to hear your stories, good, bad, or indifferent. And up next is the amazing, incredible Kelsey Cruson, our customer service manager. You won't find somebody that cares more about your success than this lady standing behind me right now. So please give it up for Kelsey.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to come up here and talk to you today about a couple few things that we have going on in the customer service group here at Vans Aircraft. One thing you'll hear us talk about internally a lot as a metric that we use as a customer service team is tickets. And what that really is just all the emails that you send to kits and parts and builder technical support. But over the last year since we were up here last, we have answered 26,000 of those tickets to give you guys the answers that you're looking for. Today, 260 tickets still go unsolved, which we are working diligently, and like Michael and Sean said, the team's coming in on nights and weekends and they're not letting that standard go. So please know that if you are one of those 260 people, come find me today and let's figure out how we can answer your questions and get things solved for you. As for phone calls, we've received 13,000 phone calls year to date today. 4.05 of those calls have gone dropped from you guys waiting and wanting to hang up because we haven't answered the phone quickly enough. That is down 24% from where we are last year, so we are improving, but we're still not where we want to be yet. One thing we're working on internally is the delivery communication for all of you. You all deserve proactive communication and to get the dates and times and product updates before your kit goes out the door. So one thing that we've improved on lately is letting you know what's not going to be in your kit and the date that you can expect to receive it before it goes out the door. We don't want you to wait to receive that packing slip with the back order listed on it, and then you have to contact us. We're letting you know beforehand and we're working diligently to get you those answers. We're definitely not perfect and not where we want to be in that process. So we appreciate your patience. I know you guys have been through a lot in the past several years, so just know that we're doing everything we can to give you that proactive communication. We're also updating the kit status portal every single night at 6 p.m. so you can have real life updates of your kits and when they will arrive. We're also redefining our team structure. We went from 5 individuals in the customer service team that were broken up between kits and parts, and everybody wanted to call Ann or Fedocia to get their questions answered, but now we're moving to a model where we have 7 unified customer service reps that can all answer questions regarding kits or parts or anything that you're needing. So from me and the whole customer service team at Vans, we appreciate everything that you guys have done and your service every day, and we hope that we can still provide you with the experience that you deserve. So thank you. Next, I want to introduce our e-commerce and media manager, who you might all know, Mark Cook. Mark's been with Vans for about 4 months now, and I work very closely with him on the e-commerce side, so I'm happy to have him come up and talk to you guys today. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Guys used to be the kit planes out here. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
But in fact, I had a stint doing e-commerce work for a motorcycle manufacturer and parts supplier, which is really an interesting experience. And one of the things I learned out of that was the e-commerce side. We'll jump to my slide. Is really a collaborative effort. What we try to do is work for you, the customer, give you a really good customer-facing experience. But a lot of what we do is informed by what customer service tells us. When we have an error, we have a problem, we have something that a customer doesn't understand, I try to roll that back into what we do that faces you guys and to improve that. And so far, I have to say we're making baby steps. It's only 3 months, not 4. It feels like longer to be hanging around, but we're working on it. So we're doing things like refining our order forms. There was some confusion, some inconsistencies, we're working that through. Again, baby steps. Things like on a consumer website, you really don't want to show parts that we can't sell you. Makes you a little disappointed, and it's just not good hygiene. So we're working to get rid of those. We had about 800 to start with, got about 35% of them done, and we'll get those whipped up here pretty soon. Just want to make it a good shopping experience for you guys on the web store. And that is a busy web store, by the way. We get about 45 orders a day out of that 7 days a week. And it's a very important part of our touch with you and give you the opportunity to look for what you need even when we're not open. So all of that, our e-commerce stuff, which is a Magento-based platform, has to integrate with a lot of other systems in-house. And I won't bore you with the details, but the simple fact is the pieces we have don't really talk to each other well. Some of you guys have heard we're moving to NetSuite, we're doing a lot of other things, but the core reason for that is to get these systems to talk to each other reliably, clearly to us. And what that allows us to do is talk more clearly to you. There we go. So what does that enable us to do? What we eventually want to do is give you a one login experience. We really shouldn't have you to go a bunch of different places to get your order information, where your kits are, maybe even where your Lycoming engine is. The goal is to give you one experience. Amazon can do it, why can't we? Okay, they're a little bigger than we are, but we're working toward that paradigm because that's what's expected. And of course, to go along with that, when we know better about where your order is, where your engine is, when you're going to get your kit, we can tell you that. And I'll tell you, we haven't done as good a job on that as we should have. And we're working toward making sure those communications are really clear and really timely, and we don't surprise you with anything. So really, really important to us. You're a big part of what we work for, both in the customer service and the e-commerce side. So that's kind of the boring stuff. The fun stuff for me is the video work we're doing. And I think, how many of you guys have seen the RV15 videos we're doing, some of the update stuff? Good, appreciate that. We have a lot more in the can. That's a really old phrase to say in the can, isn't it? But we have a lot more coming. We're working on a series of deep dives, and I don't want to step in front of the presentation that's coming up here, but I really want to give you guys a peek behind the curtain, as it were, about the kind of work that our design team is doing. And I think the guys have been really sweet about sitting for this stuff. It's sort of somewhere between pulling teeth and a tax audit to sit in front of the camera and spout the stuff, but they've been real good sports about it. And the goal is to give you guys a lot of good information and really have you understand why we're doing what we're doing on the design front. And I think that's important so that you understand some of the airplanes we're working on now. Of course, we can extend that into builder assistance. I mean, Show of hands, anybody, if you don't know what you're doing, do you go to YouTube first to figure out where it is, right? There we go. So drywall, there's a video for that. So, and we want to do the same thing. We know that there are parts of kits, especially new kits like the RV15 that may not be familiar with. We have an excellent opportunity to give you some video guidance, and that's where we want to take it. And that all rolls into improving our plans and including our instructions, which is really part of the kit process. I'm a builder myself, and I understand I built an airplane very early on when the instructions are really skeletal, and it leaves a lot to be desired. We're trying to fix that for you. So we're also going to work on filling out our YouTube channel, so please take a look at that. Subscribe, as they say, and we do look at all the comments. We appreciate the comments, and we're happy to feedback on that. All right, that's a lot of inside baseball for one morning, isn't it? Let's talk about airplanes. So obviously, if you guys have been out there, you've seen the RV15 that's here today. It'll be here all week. The guys have been working absolutely tirelessly on the development of that airplane. In case you've been under a rock or in Arizona or someplace and you haven't heard about the RV15, it's what we call the only high wing worthy of the RV name. So what are the key features here? It's an airplane that will cruise with 182s but land with the Cubs. Maybe even shorter. We'll find out, won't we? It'll land hard, meaning you don't have to land it hard, but it will take the abuse that inevitably comes with some backcountry stuff. We've all been back there. We thought that was going to be a greaser, and it wasn't. This airplane is built to make you look good that way. Really, its capabilities of getting in and out of short fields are absolutely amazing. I've had a little bit of time in the airplane, and it is absolutely eye-opening. The other thing is it's built to take all the stuff you go, wait, no, you can take all the stuff you want. If you looked at that airplane, you realize how big the baggage area is in that. It is absolutely voluminous. And of course, the thing that makes it an RV is the way it handles. This can't be a truck. It can't be the box it came in. It has to have that RV feel. It has to have the control harmony, the predictability, and just that thing when you fly the airplane and you get a landing, you go, yeah, that was good. And of course, I skipped past it, but all the design work that has been done has been with Mosaic in mind. And of course, we expect to hear some news about Mosaic sometime during the show. That's very, very much on our radar. So without further ado, I want to bring up our engineering team with Brian Johnson and Brian Hickman. Before as they meander up here, I want to tell you guys, these guys and their team are the hardest working people I know. I can come in early, they're already there. I can leave late, they're still there. I can pop in on the weekend to grab something I forgot, they're there. They are working tirelessly on this airplane to get it not just good, but perfect. Brian.
Good to see everybody. Good to be back. And speaking of Mosaic, I have to be gone in a couple of minutes here to a meeting, so Brian will take most of it, but let's just get into it. The number of iterations, even 21 is not indicative, but once Van and I got into engineering after Oshkosh last year and Brian up to speed, we really started to iterate after Oshkosh last year. So test, test, test. That's what gives you the airplane that's going to be the best quality out of the gate. Work through all those issues. Moving on to the performance of the airplane. The useful load. So we will be able to make the 900-pound useful load. Possibly more, we'll let you know, but 900 is a definite given. Stall speed at gross weight, depending on what that final gross weight is, will be less than 45 knots, and we know that we can achieve that with the margin currently. The top speed on the way here, without the drag reducing features that will come on the airplane, we're close to 140 knots, and we'll be able to achieve that 140 knots cruise speed that we've been talking about for some time. Seats, 2 people plus real baggage. And come to our forum tomorrow. We'll get into that a little bit more, but this airplane is already indicated, carries a lot of stuff. 400 feet, we've already been able to demonstrate takeoff and landing distances under 400 feet. And I know Brian can get into that a little bit more. His house, it's about 800 feet down the strip, and you roll to a stop without using the brakes. So horsepower, 175 horsepower. So if you think of this airplane a few iterations down the road in a flight school, you want less than 200 horsepower. If you want a lighter weight engine, you'd be at that 175 range up to the 220. And really, we're not limited to 220. It could be more than that. It's more of a weight issue than horsepower. The engine that we're using is the Lycoming IO390 XP 119. So we're getting about 218 out of that. Real baggage. If you haven't had a chance to look at the airplane, we'll be swapping out different types of baggage during the week. As you can see, that's a 55-gallon drum in the back of the airplane plus a tote. There's some backcountry airplanes that neither of those would fit in. They usually have a crossing structure, etc. So real baggage. Just want to go through some of the iterations here. Brian, I'll click through if you want to talk as we go through. So there's a number of iterations. We're going to just quickly head on through.
So we've been taking the time to get it right. And what that really means, we talked about the RV feel, we talked about being worthy of the RV name. What we're talking about is the flying surfaces of the airplane, how it feels, how the control system operates. And that is by far the most difficult and most iterative part of this process. We are at the point where we have finalized those components, the airplane flies correctly, and we're deep into the production structures, the final structures, the buildability, the manufacturability of the airplane. So we have not shied away from any project. Moving the tail aft, we cut the fuselage in half, full matched hole, it's in the computer, we have the equipment, we can build a new tail cone that drops right on with a new design.
One of the focuses of this airplane, every generation, I've been banned since '97, when there was holes in the skins but not the understructure, and we moved to full matched hole. We're taking this kit to the next generation of kit assembly. Industry leading instructions, we're now going to make them better. Lego inspired, where you have less steps per page, and color incorporated, fewer steps per page, so it's clearer, less to read, more visual based, and a bill of materials in each step, so you know what to go collect out of your hardware box and out of your toolbox. I also hope we get to deliver hardware in a better fashion than we have in the past. Shaded colored views, so let's take a look at that. This is a tank rib, and you're seeing components go on there. We're colorizing the components that go onto the rib with very simple step text, step bubbles. You see that bill of materials in the upper left. And incorporating pictures, we'll also incorporate more types of media. And as Mark Cook said, we're going to be shooting builder videos over time that we'll be able to link into these plans pages. So taking this to the next generation, again, we have the industry-leading plans pages, and we want to keep them there. The Army Field Team buildability, that picture is a lot of the people you see sitting in my right who've never built an airplane before. There's a few of us that have built a few airplanes that built the fuel tank and the main spar on the flying wings, but those wings that you see on the airplane out there were built by first-time builders. Not only built by, so anybody can build it. No tape measure or plumb bob will be needed building these, so all the parts will come complete, even your push rods. So final sized holes, as we know, self-jigging. We'll get into that here in a bit. Pre-dimpled, so the punch press will be doing the dimpling. Pre-cut control rods that are already built for you. US-made QB tanks included in the kit. And these first timers over here built this set of wings in 3 days. So I need to leave right now to get to that Mosaic meeting, which is about making your kits better under Mosaic. I'm going to turn this over to Brian, and thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow.
This buildability truly truly starts in design. We've taken feedback, we've been building airplanes ourselves. We know what's frustrating. We know that laying out your own poles, getting out the tape measure, getting the digital level, zeroing it, leveling the airplane. We've designed it all out. The holes are there. Even control rods. If you need to set the length with the rod ends, there's a template. Line up the holes, drop the bolts in, screw it till it fits. This airplane very quickly goes together. A high wing especially, a strut-based high wing with a control system typically needs some rigging. You have to set the dehedral, you have to set the incidence. It's a pain. You get both wings on, it may be out of balance a little bit. There is none of that on this airplane. It is all precise. The struts are machined, the strut fittings are pre-placed. You set, put the bolts in, everything is correct. We have done no trim adjustments to this airplane. We started to fly it, it's correct. The aileron system, not a single rod end was adjusted as we put the wings on. Plug it in, sometimes you lose a word. But yes, wow, that's amazing. Our differential aileron, thank you. That's typically a pain. So you have these bell cranks that are very precise and need to be aligned, to get your differential ailerons. No adjustments. We went to the stick, we checked the controls, everything works perfect, out of the box, and lined up with the wingtip. The wing attach, 3 bolts, connect the fuel lines, connect the flap and aileron, it's on. We installed this wing in 1 minute and 48 seconds. We weren't trying, we just happened to videotape it. This seems exciting. We get to the end of the video, wow, it just dropped right on. So with that said, you may have noticed we do have a wet wing, so to speak, on this airplane. So that makes it very efficient both on its weight to seal volume ratio and efficient to build. Now you may notice that traditionally when you think of a wet wing, you think of difficult to access. You're putting your hands into a small place, you're trying to seal and rivet. This wing tank is still built as a single unit. So what we show here is a representation of the fuel tank. This ends up being riveted to the forward spar, and the rear spar gets spliced onto the outward portion of it. It is very robust. The corners of the tank that are typically the torque box of the wing are all reinforced at every edge. So full back-to-back flanges, full hat sections top and bottom, clipped into every rib. We're looking at those long-term durability, what we can learn off other aircraft, and how we can make a wing that'll last for decades to come. These fuel tanks are very generous, and we have 30 gallons a side usable. It has a forward and aft feed for the dramatic climb and approach angles. It has vented headers. It is an easy aircraft to manage the fuel up. There's no auxiliary tanks to pump. There's no complicated fuel selector, no complicated methods. It is just a simple, honest airplane. Less to manage and plenty of range. So we flew the 600 miles from Aurora to Billings. It just came in under half fuel. That's a 4-hour leg by the time you climb over the mountains. So I was very excited about the range and usefulness of this airplane. And again, the QB fuel tank will be a standard feature of this airplane. You'll see that there's a hatch in every bay. We're planning for that repairability and long-term use if anything happens. So the kit highlights, again, pre-dimpled parts. So we have the automation and equipment. We will dimple the hole and not force you to maneuver and handle those large skins that are damage prone as you're dimpling. Made in the USA fuel tanks, and we've expanded the team and we're pulling that production from 15 in-house. The wiring harnesses will be included. You route it down the forward section of the wing. There's access. You can adjust and change that as time goes on and equipment is changes. You're not committed to a certain route. The seats are included. Just change my slides on. And the back You never get that hit in the stomach and the flare. Oh, I really screwed that up. It's fun. You know what it'll do. It's reliable. The airplane will take it. You'll go around and try again and do better the next time. It is a wonderful airplane to fly and land. So please come to our Engineering Innovations and Insights Forum, where we'll get into the details, the nitty-gritty, and really answer your questions, and hope for that to be an interactive back and forth. So I would now like to introduce Greg Hughes, our sales manager, who I'm sure you've all met before.
I want to reiterate, the team that's been working on the RV-15 has been working day and night. There's been some sleeping under desks, literally, in some cases. Brian just mentioned the landing gear. Brian was, I believe, the author and certainly the designer of the gear, his first patent, so one more round of applause for Boston. So I'm here to talk really briefly about the 2026 RV-12IS. Many of you know that the RV-12 came out about 15 years ago, and we went through the original RV-12 and then to the RV-12IS when the IS Rotax engine came out, and some changes that were made. A lot of those changes were made to sort of beef it up a little bit, been used in different, started to be used in flight schools at the time. And you've probably seen the copper airplane before. Some people say it's orange, some say it's copper, it's green now. I invite you to come down to the booth and take a look at it. And when you do that, there's certain things, if you look very closely, you might notice are fundamentally different. That's what we wanted to mention here real quick. First of all, if you look at the spinner on the nose of the airplane, you may notice that it no longer has the machine gun built into it, right? The little pitot tube. It's not there anymore. The RV-12IS, and Sam Rosenbach, would you stand up for a minute, Sam? Just wave. Sam leads our sustaining engineering team and has done an amazing job putting together a project to update this airplane, and along with our aircraft assembly division and all of our teams in the office and getting the parts together, everybody's done an amazing job driving this project. But it's ready, one of the big things is it's been made ready for IFR in IMC to be compatible with Mosaic. So we have a wing-mounted pitot tube, an alternate static, alternate air intake, and an alternator has been added to the 912IS engine to provide additional power that's necessary to drive these extra systems and have full ASTM compliance. The SLSA RV-12, the one that we built at the factory to fly a home airplane or fly your flight school airplane, will now include Rotax Care Standard. So that is a 5-year, 2,000-hour TBO warranty on the Rotax engine that will come standard. A number of performance improvements and enhancements that have been made. A new cooling system, a new radiator design for both the coolant and the oil. The fuel system has been redesigned by Rotax. There's some new fuel pumps. And one of the really great benefits, and one of the big projects that Sam's been working on with his team is we've also published service information related to vapor lock with the Rotax engine in the RV-12, and substantial improvements in terms of preventing vapor lock from occurring in the first place with the new design as a very welcome side effect. We also have made a change in the POH and redescribed sort of an enhanced crosswind capability to make that a little more clear to people and to expand that a bit. We've also got some really, really nice accoutrement changes. So the interior has been modified. It's all leather seats with new seat foam and cushion armrests, new cockpit lighting to make it better to use at night and in IFR conditions for that type of work. A cargo net with bulk latch capabilities to be able to keep things on the floor. Again, if you're going to be an IFR, if it's going to get bumpy, then you're going to want that. A new throttle handle that's enhanced, new stick grips that are really, really nice. Got to fly those the other day, really nice. Improved, who here has an RV-12, by the way? Anybody here flying an RV-12? Okay. So keep your hands up for the RV-12. Keep your hand up if you like the tow bar / rudder lock. That's good. That's all right. So another project that Sam's been working on with the team has been tow bar rudder lock improvements. So that's really, really exciting for that. Weather sealing, line with RV12, and it can be a little leaky, so we put some effort into that. And then you may also have noticed on the airplane that it has a new design. So as we've gone through the different iterations, we've changed the lines on the airplane. So that's with Evoque, one of the big painting companies that people like to use. Vans painted it, so we paint all of our aircraft at the factory. And we have a forum that's coming up actually pretty darn soon here at 10 o'clock. And that's over on Forum Stage 10. And we'll be diving into the RV-12 IS as it's used in flight schools. There are now about 115 RV-12s being used for flight training, either in flight schools or in flying clubs where they're primarily doing flight training. Eric Krause and I think Sam and myself are going to be over there, and we're going to be there to talk about that, talk in more detail about some of the features on the airplane, and answer your questions about operating it as a commercial aircraft, a special flight school. All right, so I think you've heard an awful lot today. So we have a lot going on at Airventure. I'm incredibly proud of what's going on. And so, questions. Actually, before we do that, there's one more thing. And for that, I'd like to ask Kelsey Hickman to come up. Kelsey runs our marketing. She has something.
I should start out with apologizing because it's my fault that this forum started at 8:30 this morning. But I did just want to give us a quick little marketing update, and Austin and Brian here are going to help me out. So why don't you guys go ahead? So we have started production on the RV-15. The first airframe kit to come out is going to be the wing kit. And we're actually going to be taking orders today. We were worried that Monday was going to be a little bit slow, so the guys asked me if we could do something just to make it go by a little bit quicker. So we're going to start taking orders at 12:30, and you can order at the booth, or you can call back home to the mothership and place your order as well. And the introductory price is $19,650. And then Sean's going to come up here and walk us through the timeline a little bit.
So like Kelsey said, the RV-15 is in production, and that starts today with the wing kits. People are back home building parts for that, and you can see here wing kits will deliver by the end of the year. And then we're phasing this in. Next thing up is the tail. Those will go into production around the end of the year, delivery in Q1. After that, we have the fuselage. We'll be here next year talking about that, and going into production then with deliveries starting later that year. And then the firewall forward and a few finished kits coming after that. And we have some pricing up here for you. You'll notice the price on the fuselage kit is different, but we have the introductory pricing here at the show. And then we have some estimates on the pricing going forward, so you can see that. Well, we kind of ran long on time here. We've got a few minutes left, but after this, all of us will be outside here, so if we don't get your question answered, please come and chat with us. We want to hear from you on what your concerns are, what your questions are. We'd love to see you over there. What was that? I think it's on Slack. There's a video right there. Yeah. All right, so now we'll go ahead and open up for questions, and maybe team, if you want to come up here so you can help out. Total price, all added up, is about $85. Let me grab a mic and we'll pass the mic around.
14A in the works? Sean?
We'll work on it.
All right, other question here.
How many of those are retrofittable to the existing RV 12IS that we've already
Great
built?
question. How many of the upgrades are retrofittable backwards onto the original?
Sam, do you want to take this one? You did a lot of work with that.
So most should be retrofittable. You saw 912 Victor Alpha. All of the upgrades are retrofit onto an existing airplane. So right now we're working on new installs, but we'll be working through service letters and so on to allow for people to install that, like to cover vapor lock, to cover the new cooler system, and so on.
So my question is dealing with tech support. I don't know who's going to answer this question. Right now, you got tech support 1 hour in the morning, you got tech support 1 hour in the afternoon, Pacific time. Are you going to go back to providing a little more tech support times in the future coming up? And I'm not specifically talking about 12s and 50s, I'm talking about overall products.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. We're actually hiring right now, so if any of you want to move out to Aurora and join our tech support team, we'd love to have you. As we gain more resources, we'll expand our availability.
Any more questions? Over here.
Another thing we're going to try and do, there's a lot of questions that get asked repeatedly, like you experience it and you ask us and we answer it, and then somebody else asks that same question 3 years later, whatever. We're working right now on the process to start capturing that so that we can have more tech support when actually it's not a person on the phone. Like, there's so many things that get answered over and over. Say again? So a lot of times I'm building an airplane in a shop, do not have access to the internet or anything else. All I have access is to a telephone. And I work on a part that needs fixed or worked right away. And that's why tech support on a phone is extremely important to me. I can be on the cell phone, and with the cell phone technology, I can actually FaceTime, show the product to whomever's on the phone, and that's just as important as going and trying to find a YouTube video that shows that. Yeah, totally understand that. And like we mentioned, like this is a big community. There's a lot of customers building. There's more demand than there is supply, and we're working on it. We've identified it. We're going to attack that multiple ways, including with adding more live.
Is there a plan for vans to provide a factory supported kit for the 9A, the Rotex Turbo?
That's going to be supported. I would say right now it is supported. I'm a little confused by that. If I ask me later. What I'll say is Lockwood's got the whole front end. We provide everything on the back end. I don't see anything missing. Lockwood's got the front end locked up. Say again? What? Yeah, that's true. But anyway, no, there shouldn't be a gap. Talk to me later.
Okay, thanks. I've got a comment and a question. By the way, Sean, I'm Eddie's partner. My advice great, thanks for the seats. First comment is when we were looking for training, luckily I had done my training. Again, I have a partner, Eddie. But when Benny went for his training, there was no option on the East Coast to get time and attend before we actually flew ours. So something you guys need to get the East Coast location going again. That's where I went from SAC a year ago and did quite a good job. And my question is related to your plans and plan updates. There's so many times we go down the plans and the plans are small, and we either call up or go on the internet and find tribal knowledge that, oh yeah, they know about that, but you never do any erratas. You can go back and look at the erratas on your website. There's nothing even recent. So I think you need to do a better job at getting the instructions updated on a very quick basis, because we spend a lot of time, drill the wrong holes, etc., because the plans are wrong.
So to comment on the plans, our drafting team has tripled in the last 6 months. We've definitely known that as a need. We've seen the errors, we've seen the comments, and we are working through that diligently and getting everyone up to speed and aggressively working through these notes from the tech support team where we have these common issues.
Oh, and you had a question on flight training and increasing flight training. Zach retired. We're aware. Flight training and transition training has always been important to Vans. It's an important part of the DNA. We want to have more of it available. And as more airplanes come off, there's more demand for that as well. Josh, where's Josh? There he is. One of his primary goals is to develop and increase the flight training options. So we're addressing it. We're just not there yet.
First comment first. I guess in my opinion, don't be so hard on yourselves. I keep hearing about we can do better, you can do better. You got almost 12,000 aircraft flying. You're doing pretty good at that. So good job. You're spoiling us. But a couple questions on the 15. IO390, is that going to be the primary one that we're talking about?
Yeah, so we'll get into lots of detail in tomorrow's forum, but the airplane has been optimized for the 390. So we need to have the ideal, to meet the design, power loading, and baggage capacity. That's where we designed for that weight of engine. But it is approved effectively for 175 horse to 220 horse motors, and we're putting a 265-pound minimum on the engine weight to help the airplane meet its design intent. But we'll have lots of time to talk about it. We have a few slides on it at tomorrow's forum.
All right, two more questions if I can. The bill of materials for each step, are they going to be packaged that way, or are we just going to dig up, 15?
Yeah, so we're working through making sure it is packaged in the order it's used in. So we know it's been frustrating that a lot of this airplane build and all these hours you put in are hunting for parts, or double checking measurements, and we got running around looking for a Sharpie. We knew that's just, there's a better way, and that's what we're working towards.
All right, and last one I want to highlight, Mike, the seat configuration. Is there going to be a configuration that would allow more than 2 seats?
Yeah, so currently this design is 2-seat airplane with lots of stuff. And so it will be an experimental aircraft, but the design intent is a 2-seat airplane with like 250 pounds of gear.
Yeah, first comment, I'm building a 9 with the Rotax, flying a 12, really enjoying it. Just got a question about the long-term support of your products. It's been very difficult to get replacement radiators for the RB12. So when a product is made by a company other than Vans, is there any kind of long-term, we're going to have parts for 10 years, 5 years, what's the deal, and kind of why did it take so long with those radiators?
Yeah, so we mostly had supply chain issues with those radiators, and also, frankly, they've been breaking faster than we were hoping for them to. So we changed the design a little bit. We're working with a new supplier, Pacific Oil Coolers, for not only the 12, but for all engine models that we offer, for better cooling performance, for oil and radiator for the 12. And that will be part of that retrofit kit, the 2026 RB12. And I think we just got the new coolers in house, and we're aggressively ordering more for new builds and for those that need to retrofit it. So that will hopefully, in the next few months, be a problem of the past with better performance as well. It's flying now, to add that, thanks Brian. So if you go look at the RB12 and the 912 Victor Alpha, the new coolers are on there. They look almost identical because they're black, but they're mounted to the cowling, a little bit better performance, and so on.
Totally different mounting system. This has been in the works a long time. And the reason behind that is we know we've had these longevity issues and we're aggressively testing it. We're putting lots of hours on the airplane, and we really think we have it fixed right. We're in full rate production on the supply of that new cooler design.
We've got time for one more question, but I want to say Isn't this great? We got so much depth of knowledge in the team here. It's really exciting. One more question. Where is it?
You mentioned the RV-15 session tomorrow, but it's not in the EAA now. So what time is it and where's it at?
Yeah, so it is Forum Stage 6. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's in the app under Insights and Innovations. Unfortunately, it didn't say Vans Aircraft. It was hard for me to find it too. But I'm really excited to get all the details and all the questions answered, and it should be a really good time.
Okay, I want to wrap up by saying thanks for everybody went through all that. We went through a lot of detail, but we think it's important because a lot of customers want to know what's happening. Also, this is actually a very exciting year for Vans the 15. We just announced it's in production. If you haven't been to the booth, come over there, check it out. We've got the updates on the 12. We got Mosaic. We've got a great Oshkosh this year. Thank you so much. And lastly, we're all going to hang around both here for a little bit and at the booth. If you're an existing customer, you've got a good experience, a bad experience, please share it with us, share it with the team. That's why we're all here. Thank you very much.